After signing the document that would unite his life with a millionaire 3 times older, the young man, who in everyone's eyes was nothing more than a self-interested, soulless man, more concerned with money than true love, was nervous in the bedroom of his new wife when she instructed him to wait in the bathroom while she prepared for their wedding night. Minutes later, when she ordered him to leave, he was speechless, observing how she was listening to what Claudio was saying. After being orphaned at the age of 10, he was forced to wander the streets in search of someone willing to lend a helping hand and offer him a job to sustain himself. Amidst looks of disdain and rejection, even from those who knew his situation well, he ended up in another city where, finally, a kind and humble man took pity on him. Seeing him so exhausted, dirty, and clearly hungry, he offered him a drink and some food and provided him a place in his home. Mr. Hermogenes was an experienced farmer who lived with his wife and their only daughter, almost the same age, in a small but very cozy house amidst the vast fields they worked on daily. Learning of the tragic situation that forced young Claudio to leave his town, they decided to permanently take care of him, welcoming him as another member of their family. The following week, they enrolled him in the same school their daughter attended, insisting on repaying him in some way for what they were doing for him. In the afternoons, Mr. Hermogenes took him along to help with the crops and taught him to work the land. Fernanda, the daughter of the generous family, and Claudio had become great, truly great, friends since his arrival at their home. As they grew and reached adulthood, they realized that the feelings binding them were deeper than they had imagined. Convinced they were meant for each other, Claudio promised his girlfriend to talk to her parents, not only to confess his feelings but also to ask for her hand. Given that the man had been in good health, although he had been in terrible pain in his back for the last few months, rendering him unable to stand. Instead of improving, Mr. Hermogenes seemed to be getting worse. To worsen the situation, his wife also fell ill with severe pneumonia, requiring transfer to a capital hospital. Fernanda had to accompany her, leaving Claudio in charge of farming and caring for his father. A day after she left, they received an unexpected visit from powerful Magnolia, a billionaire owner of most of the lands worked in that region. "You have no idea how much money I lost due to the drop in production because of you. Yes, it was exclusively your fault for losing dozens of harvests, and some are withering away," the elderly lady said angrily, demanding that they pay what they owed. Otherwise, she stated they would have no choice but to leave the lands immediately, handing them an invoice for a large sum of money they didn't have a quarter of. Explaining their situation and telling her they didn't have the money, without any mercy, Ms. Magnolia ordered him to leave and then got into her car. Desperate, knowing how much their saviors and his beloved Fernanda had worked on those lands that meant everything to them, Claudio, with a heavy heart, begged them to give him at least a month to gather what they owed. "I will take care of the crops myself, and thus I will pay every penny." The elderly lady looked at him in a way that sent shivers down his spine. "I accept, but with one condition. If you can't manage it within a month, you'll have to marry me obligatorily, and only then will I let them live on my property." With a knot in his stomach, Claudio agreed to the deal. In the following days, he entrusted one of the maids with caring for Mr. Hermogenes so he could dedicate himself tirelessly to the seeding. Fernanda returned shortly after with her convalescent mother, knowing what was happening and seeing the effort he made to save him. Full of love, she began to help him as much as she could, feeding him and ensuring he didn't exhaust himself too much. Claudio was close to achieving it, but as the month passed, there was still a small amount missing to cover the full debt. Even though he asked for another week to have everything, Ms. Magnolia adamantly refused without mincing words, demanding that he fulfill the agreement. Fernanda and her parents were unaware of this other part of the deal until that day. The young woman burst into tears upon seeing him leave with the old woman toward the courthouse, where a judge awaited, ready to sacrifice himself for the one who had extended a helping hand when everyone else turned their backs, even if it meant abandoning the woman he truly loved. Claudio married Ms. Magnolia without resistance. "You may come now," said the elderly woman, after asking to stay in the bathroom while she prepared for the wedding consummation. Claudio, unsure of what to do, stood paralyzed before her. When he saw her, surprised, he asked the elderly lady, dressed comfortably in pajamas and slippers, which left the young man speechless. "I must say I am very proud of you because today you showed me that there are still selfless people capable of loving wholeheartedly and sacrificing everything for their loved ones." Then, after inviting him to sit beside her and sharing a warm embrace, Miss Magnolia explained to Claudio that, being very ill, she would soon pass away. She couldn't have children. So, she had been looking for someone worthy to inherit her lands and consider leaving them to Mr. Hermogenes and his wife. But then, she realized they were no longer capable of taking care of them. On the day she saw his determination, wanting to test him since Fernando was absent, she said, "You are a strong and honest man, with a great heart. I am sure you will make her very happy, and I know you will take care of my lands and keep them prosperous, just as I did." Claudio and Fernanda married shortly after the death of Miss Magnolia, who spent her last days in communion with her God. Nowadays, they both managed to take the farms to a better production level. And although some still judge Claudio and Fernanda, those who know the real truth admire what he was able to do for the love of his family. Sometimes, life's circumstances are not what they seem. Often, we rush to judge without knowing how things truly unfolded. Let us not be quick to point fingers or judge someone because we are not fully aware of the emotional damage we might cause. Dear friends, we've reached the end of this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. A hug, and until next time.